People, welcome to Newspaper Breakdown, 1st of November. I hope everyone had a good October. I hope you all dressed up wonderfully yesterday. It was Halloween yesterday, so of course we're going to start with Suella Braverman, a woman with all the kindness, compassion and competence of a concentration camp run by angry and tired toddlers. She was in the Commons yesterday to speak about the terror attack that happened in Dover. Now, the police are not taking it as a terror attack, but I'm not 100% sure what more needs to be done for it to be a domestic terror attack, considering they attacked a government place, trying to kill refugees. But of course he's white, so it's slightly different, obviously. The mind, nowadays white people can't be terrorists because they bring democracy everywhere they go with their bombs. But on Sunday we had the terror attack, and so Suella Braverman came out and did wonderfully jingoistic, far-right, racist dog whistling to hide her own incompetence. She claimed that we're being invaded, which is a conversation that we've had time and time again. That we're being invaded. We're not being invaded. It's not an invasion. I've said it in stand-up before. It's not an invasion if you can stop it with a pinprick. That's not how an invasion works. But it is just to try to hide her own incompetence. That this has all been going. So we had, she called refugees a scourge, claimed it was an invasion, but that's not the language of someone who is shocked, because she started, I'm shocked by this event. You can't say you're shocked and then go on with this jingoistic shit. That's not how emotions work. That's just not how feelings work. She obviously doesn't give a fuck. He said that any complaints that accommodation isn't good enough, this is in Marsden, which we spoke about yesterday because it was in the news, which, I mean, you've got a spread of both diphtheria and MRSA outbreaks in these places like Marsden, and she's claiming that anyone who complains that accommodation isn't good enough is frankly indulgent and ungrateful. And this is the conversation that you need to be having at this point. These are human beings. They're actual human beings like yourself and like me, because no bots watching this. And the conversation that the Tories have is to remove humanity from them, because if you remove humanity from them, then it's a lot easier to treat them like shit and believe that they deserve everything that they get. That's just what happens. Braverman also said that the system's broken. And this is something that always gets me with the Tory party. They constantly act like they haven't been in charge for 12 years. And even if you pull them up on it, they just ignore it. Oh, well, it's Labour don't stand up for the British people like we do. If this is you standing up for the British people don't deserve anything anyway. It's fucking disgusting. Matt Hancock has lost his whip, so that's nice news. But he's lost his whip because he's gone on to I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here, which he's not a celebrity. And he's still an MP. So he hasn't lost the 80 plus grand a year that he earns for fucking off to Australia for a month, not doing his job. Same as Boris Johnson, going on holiday all the time. There should be. And I thought there would be, because this is a job. A sort of, how would you say it? An employment contract, where they have to actually work for a living. Maybe we could put one in place, potentially, because it seems like I've said it times before. We cannot sack MPs, and I do not know why. Do they not have employment contracts? Can we not get them for gross fucking misconduct? Because fucking off for a month when you're meant to be working doesn't seem right to me, unless he's got all of that holiday, which I don't think he does. I don't think he has all the holiday left. I don't know where Boris Johnson's getting all of his fucking holiday days. BP have reported a £7.1 billion profit between July and September due to the high oil and gas prices, and will pay $800 million in a windfall tax this year. They made £7.1 billion in 3 months, which is over double what they made last year, and they're paying $800 million. A pissant amount. I don't know what more we want. They're increasing the shareholder dividend by 10%, and they're buying back $2.5 million in shares, and we're just allowing it. We're constantly just allowing it. Because Sunak is now going to be preparing for tax rises and spending cuts, which is an absolute cut, screwing us over on both sides. I mean, this is double penetration at this point. And it's going to be cuts across the board, spending cuts across the board, tax rises across the board, to deal with a massive hole in the budget created by having a Tory government. That's it. That's the reason that we're in this mess, because we've got a Tory government. So we're going to be seeing what is called a stealth increase, along with all the other changes that they're going to be bringing out. I think it's November the 17th or something is when they're going to be doing the budget, but don't quote me on that. But the expected stealth increases and how that's going to work in both income tax and national insurance contributions is they're going to be extending the freeze in personal tax allowances and in thresholds. Now, the reason that's considered a stealth tax is because with inflation, money goes up. And so every year, the worth of money, so costs go up, what you pay for food, all of that goes up. And so if you're not getting any more money back in you, then as the cost of living goes up, your money should also be going up. But if you cut the allowances and everything else, and it doesn't, and so it sticks. And so although you'll be paying the same, you should be paying fucking less to make it all work. But not allowing it. What they're going to be looking at is 50% in tax rises and 50% in spending cuts. Now, to put that into perspective, what George Osborne did when he did austerity the first time round is he did 80% spending cuts and 20% in taxes. So there's going to be more money in taxes, because frankly there isn't anything else to cut. You're already going to have councils will slash services, and at this point all the councils are there to do at this point, because they've slashed so much. It's like answer the phone, and even that they're going to end up having to cut and make it automated. Got nothing left. The mad bit, fucking mad bit on this, it loses every ounce of calm I have in me. Latest opinion poll from the Observer shows that Sunak's tenure has already improved the Tory reputation in financial management. he's taken the lead over Labour for the couple of weeks he's been in, and now a third of everyone in the poll would prefer to have Sunak running the economy than Labour. What's wrong with people? Are you that short term? Do you need the Tories that badly? Are you in love with them? Is this a domestic abuse aspect, because that's what it feels like. It feels like we're in a domestic abuse relationship with the Tory party, and every fucking time they come around and say, actually, I do love you. You're like, oh no, he does love me. He does love me. No, you're being abused. Every fucking time you are being abused, and you keep going back. Have some self-respect, would you, for fuck's sake? New data has shown that the top 1% of earners in the UK are responsible for the same amount of carbon dioxide emissions in a single year as the bottom 10% over more than 20 years. So it takes 26 years for low earners to produce the same amount of carbon dioxide as the rich in a year. We keep on being given these lovely pieces of advice for how to survive the winter, on how to lower our emissions to protect the planet, until we deal with the oil and gas companies and the rich. It doesn't matter. We could go outside every day and set fire to a fucking tyre, and we would not touch what the rich do. Wouldn't even touch it, wouldn't even come close. It'd be like chucking a sausage down a fucking cavern. We would not touch the sides. The only way to change it is hunt the rich or tax them. Tax them until they fucking cry. If we taxed the 1% a carbon emissions tax for the past 20 years, we could have raised as much as £126 billion by now, which could have had some effect in helping us to change the fucking world. But this is the problem when you have rich people and you have people who want to be rich in power, because the Tories can come along and tell you all the time, oh, it's awful what we're seeing, it's terrible, we need to do something, we're going to have to make hard decisions, we need to work tough and all in this together. We're not in this together. They're the ones picking the rules, they're the ones who are choosing everything, they're the ones who are making everything. They're the reason this is all happening. The rich can be taxed more, and they should be taxed more, and we should put them over a fucking barrel. Oh, they're going to leave the country. Let them. Let every single one of them. Because until the world shapes up, we're fucked anyway. It don't matter. Because the rich, you have a look, they do things that poor people can't do. Like they fly a lot more, they drive large cars, they own multiple homes, they travel from home to home, they have a more expensive diet with a lot more meat, doing a lot more imports, they buy more clothes. They have fucking more expensive goods, all imports, all travelling, boats, planes, everything to get everything away. The poor can't do it because the poor don't have the money for it. So if you want to change something, you have to deal with the rich. That's how. That's the only way that trickle down can work. Trickle down tax. That's it. You want to do a trickle down economy? No, trickle down tax. You tax them tons, and then you tax us less. And then everything will be better. Final two news stories. Gonna go slightly longer than I want, but it is what it is. New Minister for Women, which is Maria Caulfield, has defended her earlier decision to vote against a buffer zone at abortion clinics, explaining that she is concerned that some people accused of harassment may just be trying to comfort people using the health care services. Previously, she was an officer of the All-Parliamentary Pro-Life Group, and that is one of your ministers for women, someone who does not believe that you deserve all the freedoms that, I'm not going to claim to be a good person, but I think you should have, like your body, your choice and stuff like that, and not feeling guilty about having an abortion. I don't think you should feel guilty. I think actually that we should be in a world where everyone is forced to get an abortion until you can prove that you're competent enough to actually have a child. That's how I would go about it, but I want humanity to end. So, final news story. New data from Diabetes UK has suggested that there is a fast rise in the amount of under 40s getting type 2 diabetes, with experts claiming that it exposes the impact of soaring obesity levels. Now, UK is third behind Turkey and Malta in the obesity rate in Europe, so can't even be first in that, can we? We're trying our best. You are 7 times at a greater risk of getting type 2 diabetes with obesity, and 3-fold increase if you're just overweight, dickhead. 23% increase in obesity, in diabetes for the under 40s from 2016-17 to 2020-21. Now, very difficult, this bit. Very difficult. Because you can't say much anymore, very much a body positive world, which I think's fantastic, delightful, beautiful. I smoked for a very long time. I love smoking. I've given it up and it depresses me greatly. But at no point was it ever not okay to point out that smoking is bad for you. And I looked very cool doing it. Now, I'm not comparing smoking to obesity. Smoking gets taxed a lot more. But if there is severe health issues with something, either tax it or ban it. Now, people always come like, well, why don't we just ban smoking? Do it. You want to ban drinking? I love a drink. Do it. It's fine. Let's get the fucking bootleg. But we cannot be in a world where we ignore the evidence of anything. It's unfair in the long run. So obesity does help to raise your chances of getting diabetes, and you can argue that it's not good for the NHS, and that would be the only argument I would have, really, because I think you do what you want, do whatever you like. You want to be obese, be obese. No real point to it, is there? It's just a health thing. That's all it is. It's just more people going to. We need to stop saving people. That's it. That would be the easiest way. Don't save people. Let them all fucking end. Putin has suspended the Black Sea grain export deal because he's a cunt. So I hope you have a good day, and I shall see you tomorrow.